Well, after talking about a couple of Super Mario Maker fan games, I guess it's time to talk about Super Mario Brothers again.
Super Mario Brothers, one of the most influential games, pretty much saving the gaming industry from this. It practically provides what makes video games, well, video games. Just run forward, jump on enemies, collect power-ups. It's a fun game. But what if you took that already existing game and made it more sadistic?
Super Mario Brothers 2, or Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels, that's what we're gonna call it. This game has received a lot of backlash from its unfair level design and its just overall sadistic nature. But maybe we should just take a look at the game, see if it's truly, the way that bad. I've got my NES controller, and I've got Switch Online for Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels, so, let's just give it a shot. What could possibly go wrong?
5 hours later.
That was bad!
Okay, before we fully talk about Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels, let's go back to 1986. Super Mario Brothers released 1 year prior.
Yay?
It's so important that everyone describes history as before Super Mario Brothers and after Super Mario Brothers. The game was so successful, Nintendo thought, let's make a sequel. So Nintendo did exactly that, and was it as good and memorable as the original?
No.
The game released on June 3rd, 1986 in Japan for the Famicom Disk System, and everyone was angry. It's bad when Nintendo's marketing team at Japan decided to make commercials of people yelling at their TV because Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels was just so dang hard.
I guess Nintendo thought Gamer Rage would sell this product.
Back when the game was in development, Takashika Tezuka, one of the developers for the game, believed that players had mastered the original game, and they needed a new challenge. I don't think he realized this, but Super Mario Brothers was not easy. It wasn't agonizingly difficult, but it also wasn't the easiest game in the world. When Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels was initially brought to Nintendo of America for playtesting, the people who playtested it hated it. I'm not joking. The playtesters had literally said the game was not fun to play. Because of this, Nintendo ultimately decided to not release Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels in North America. But they had to get a sequel for Super Mario Brothers. And what would that be? In 1988, Nintendo released Super Mario Bros. 2, which was Doki Doki Panic, which was a game released for the NES, but Super Mario Bros. 2 is Doki Doki Panic, but with reskinned Mario characters. Super Mario Bros. 2 later released in Japan under the name Super Mario USA.
Now, even though Nintendo of America hated Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels with a passion, it didn't really stop them from releasing it later on in other collections or re-releases.
In 1993, Nintendo released Super Mario All-Stars, which included the 4 classic NES Super Mario Bros. Games, which were Super Mario Bros. 1, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, and Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, which was the first time Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels was released in North America. They had actually modified the game to make it less sadistic, like clearly making the poison mushroom obvious that it will hurt you, and added some checkpoints as a couple examples. It was also available to play in the 2010 version of Super Mario All-Stars on the Wii. It was playable in Super Mario Bros. Deluxe in 1999. It made an appearance in future virtual console lineups for the 3DS, Wii U, and Switch. It was also part of the special edition Game & Watch Super Mario Bros. In 2020 as one of the featured games. There were also some re-releases as well for Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, so yeah, Nintendo has kinda built up a tolerance for this game.
Alright, enough about the history of this game. Let's talk about why this game is genuinely painful.
So, unlike the original Super Mario Bros. Where you could play as 2 players, which was waiting until someone dies and then waiting for your turn, I guess the developers of Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels just didn't really like that feature. So, the best course of action was to cut it entirely instead of expanding on it. For the most part, the level design is kind of insufferable. Aside from the fact that there are literal invisible blocks that have poison mushrooms in them, there is just so many unknown ways to beat levels that it's genuinely hard to find. Come on, man. But another neat feature of Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is they give the mushroom and 1-ups eyes now. So, cool?
But hey, do you like Luigi? Because you certainly won't like him in this game.
Okay, so unlike Super Mario Bros., where Luigi was playable if you were playing with another player, you can actually play as Luigi in single player. Yay! but he controls differently than Mario. Luigi jumps higher than Mario, but the trade-off is that Luigi takes longer to build up speed and is more prone to skidding than Mario is. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't like playing as Luigi in Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, but I guess Nintendo saw the potential with this concept for Luigi's moveset, so they brought back the feature of Luigi jumping higher, taking a long time to build up speed and being more prone to skidding back in future Mario games, where Luigi can jump higher. However, the skidding is more tolerable in these games. An example that comes to mind is easily 2013's new Super Luigi U. Another very revolutionary change with Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is the warp zones. Not that it's a new feature, but they did bring back the concept for it from Super Mario Bros. You can go forward in worlds, but you can also go back worlds. There are warp zones that take you back worlds.
Really?
Like, I get it. You want more playtime on your sadistic game, Nintendo, but just why? Why are there warp zones that take you back worlds? Now, granted, there are only like 2 of these in the entire game. World 3-1's warp takes you back to World 1. World 8-1's warp takes you back to World 5. But come on, man. Just why? In addition to this, another brand new feature for Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is the good old wind, which can help you or hinder your progress. It's mostly the latter. There are also the springs, which launch you so far in the air that you won't even be able to tell where you're about to fall.
But what about enemies? You know, Mario games have their fair share of enemies. Well, I'm happy to say that Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels has almost all of the enemies from the original Super Mario Bros. With some new ones, but tweaked for the worst.
Oh boy, here we go. Bloopers can now float above the water. Koopa Troopers and some other enemies in the game can be found underwater, but you can't stop on them. Instead, you take damage. Why are Koopas even in the water? Lakitus and Spinies can also be found in the water. The Hammer Brothers not only throw their hammers at a rapid-fire pace, but they chase after you. The Piranha Plant pipes are now in the ground and are harder to see when the Piranha Plants come up, and oh, it's too late. And speaking of Piranha Plants, there's a brand new Piranha Plant called the Red Piranha Plant, which comes out of a pipe at a lot faster pace and will still come from pipes even if you're bumping into the pipe to try and make a jump.
I think this game has plenty of enemies!
Okay, so the main issue that I have with Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels isn't the fact that it's hard, it's the fact that it's brutally unfair. I mean, like I said before, there are invisible blocks that have poison mushrooms in it. Like, am I playing a Nintendo game or an annoying Super Mario Maker level?
Don't know about you all, but I'm starting to appreciate this game's endless challenge, Super Expert and Expert, a lot more.
But even after all of this that you have to endure, all the suffering from playing Worlds 1 through World 8, there are actually bonus worlds, and yes, plural, extra bonus worlds, and you'll never guess how you have to unlock them. Upon completing World 8-4, which actually has a pretty cool ending after you beat Bowser and Peach gets a new sprite in this game for some reason, you will unlock World 9. But in order to unlock that game, you have to beat the whole game without using any warp zones. And I believe even if you get tricked by the backwards warp zones, that doesn't count either.
Great!
Oh, and the best part is that 3 out of the 4 levels in World 9 are water levels. That is 75% of the world that are water levels. And keep in mind, the water physics in Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels are the exact same. So it's very annoying. Oh, and also, you only get 1 life to complete World 9.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, because I really didn't need those lives, like, at all.
But what about the other worlds? Well, there are 4 other worlds. World A to World D. But can you guess how many times you have to beat Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels? Well, I'll just tell you. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not even 4 times, but 8 times.
Seriously, what is wrong with this game?
I mean, the levels are seemingly normal for the most part when it comes to the standard for Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, except for C3, a level which has endless wind and endless springs, and the entire level is so unbelievably difficult that it is honestly one of the hardest Mario levels of all time.
And that right there sums up Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Overall, a very, very unfair Mario game. It throws stuff at the player that is genuinely difficult and adds so many unfair mechanics to the game that just makes it super unenjoyable.
It is really upsetting to see because of how successful Super Mario Bros. Was. The original game was already decently difficult as is, but the thing is, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels amplifies that difficulty to an 11. This game could have been fixed. This game could have fixed some of the problems the original game had, like the janky underwater physics, the fact that if you're Fire Mario and touch an enemy, you downgrade to Small Mario, or being able to go back into level. Or if you're Small Mario and pick up a Fire Flower, you only upgrade to Super Mario, and among other problems. In a way, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels just feels like a game that's missed potential.
The simple fact of the matter is that this game was missed potential. With the amount of success that the original Super Mario Bros. Had, this needed to be a lot lighter. You can make levels with challenges, but not like this. The simple fact of the matter is that this game is sadistic, challenging, and overall an unenjoyable experience for players. It just needed a lot more time with it, and it's because for a lot of people, myself included, it's one of the worst Mario games, or heck, even video games of all time. And I can't really blame people for also thinking that way, because this game is not very good.